B.Johns, another one on the court right now. Rob, it's been a little hectic, a little crazy, but thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
We're kicking off this game one. Nice exchange. Dekel bar there on top of it.
He's seen that a couple times.
He's seen that a couple times. So I expect a lot of speed ups in firefights, as we saw in the first round with the women.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fast conditions, right? So they're going to take advantage of that. It's going to be hard to keep the ball down, some of these, playing indoors.
Did you have a chance to warm up on this particular court yet?
I played here yesterday, but I did not play today yet.
You haven't played with all the fans and spectators on top of you here.
That's it.
So, again, this may be putting you on the spot just a little. Obviously, we know that John's brothers play together. Has Dekel and Matt Wright teamed up for any tournaments that you know of?
Yeah, so they played. This matchup actually happened in Newport at the Newport Double Shootout.
Beautiful.
So they, I think the Johns boys had a pretty convincing win there. I think it was 11-7, 11-2, something like that.
And don't think that Wright and Barr don't remember that, because they do.
Of course. You don't forget stuff like that. You know, and that match was kind of lopsided, but I would expect this one to be a bit closer. Like, we might see Dekel on the right a bit more. They're not stacking yet, but Dekel's definitely more comfortable on the right than Matt is. So
Matt loves the left side, too, because he plays that a lot with his partners. So, Matt, I thought he was going to take that out of the air. That's interesting. It still worked out in his favor because he was able to rip it.
And Dekel's a big guy. So you have Matt staying back ripping and Dekel closing. It's dangerous.
Very dangerous. I think they call that the shake and bake, correct?
That's it.
That was impressive. Collin got skinny right there, and that ball still stayed in.
Collin's already pretty skinny.
Yeah, the ironic thing about those two is Ben's the younger brother, but he's actually got the thicker stature, the bigger build.
Yeah, he's a wide boy.
Yeah, Collin's built a little more wiry like myself.
Totally.
You have more like the B.Johns. Like you're a mix. You're in between.
Yeah, I'm probably in between those guys. I'd take Ben's width though, because he's just built for pickleball.
Yes, he is.
You know, he's wide. He has really good reach. He has deceptive reach.
For sure.
You know, that's why he's so good in singles. He can cover the court without moving that much.
Definitely. Guys, we're going to take a quick break during this Jigsaw Health Hydration break. This is Rob Nunnery and Scott Golden. We'll be back to the action in just a minute. All right, guys, we're back to the action here. We've got Bob Unitich as our official referee for this one. Him and his wife are here, just the two of them, to do the matches today. Very thankful for them. It looks like an early 6-0 lead for Wright and Barr.
That's a good move by Matt. Yeah, it's this is interesting because the Johns boys usually have quite a few rounds where they can kind of cruise and get warmed up, and they're coming out of the gate playing two studs.
That's the interesting part about this format, is that you don't have those early rounds playing Scott Golden or somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Just missed.
I think, again, that kind of what you're talking about is like they're not quite in that flow just yet. Nice exchange there.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to see the Johns boys really just keep the ball in play. You know, they're used to pulling the trigger fast, but I think you don't have the early rounds to warm up. You just got to be patient, like that prime example right there. Just getting to the point, make a lot of balls, and just grind it out to start before you're comfortable.
I think just having Dekel Barr charging the net like that makes a huge difference in the way you're trying to hit the ball back over.
He's a big boy.
You can't leave it up, right?
No.
Sometimes even when you keep it low, he can still attack. All right, so
Another prime example there. Like Ben's just continuing to try to speed up when I think he just needs to wait a little bit because the boys are ready.
yeah, they're fired up, ready to go. We'll talk about this in a second, but Duper's made some win probability percentages for each game.
Sure.
They've got, if they played 10 times, they predict the Johns brothers winning 7 out of the 10 times.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because it's a 70% for the Johns brothers,
Yep.
30% for Dekel and
Yep.
Matt. But the score is 8-0 right now in favor of the team that's supposed to be, the
Sure.
underdog. So this is the beautiful part about competition.
Any given day.
Any given day. But these percentages are based on the last 32 tournament results. So that's where this is coming from. It's not just this isolated situation.
Yeah, that's data. I mean, that's quite a bit of data. So
Yes.
I mean, I would actually say that percentage is quite accurate.
Probably accurate for sure.
Yeah, because I would say Dekel and Matt probably take 3 out of 10. Like that
100%.
sounds accurate.
Yeah, it really does. And we appreciate Duper coming up with this. This is more in-depth
Really
than
cool.
what we've seen
It's really cool.
in the past.
Yeah, that's an 8-0. It's an 8-0. Should pull the trigger by Dekel.
Yeah.
Something he shouldn't do, but
Kind of a heat check maybe.
yeah.
I think they need to check that Dura ball right there. Did you hear that flatten?
Yeah.
That thing got a soft spot in it already.
It's ridiculous. Not even an overhead. It's just a forehand.
He just hit a forehand. It sounded like it broke the ball in half.
It's a good spot.
Okay, so that shot is about his kneecap,
Yeah.
and you watched him whip it like that.
Yeah.
What kind of difference does that make, the way he whipped it? I saw how he did that.
Yeah, it was good disguise. He held it. He held it to the last second, and yeah, picked a really good spot because wasn't high enough for Ben to really take a whack at. So, and again, I don't think he's going to do that often, but when the score is lopsided like this, he's going to take some chances.
You're going to take a few chances. Now, I wouldn't expect this same outcome in game 2, but so far the advantage to Wright and Barr.
Yeah, I mean, I would not expect this to continue in game 2. I think Ben and Collin are going to be a little upset, and they're going to come out firing. So
I think you made a really good point also in the beginning of the broadcast that they usually have a couple rounds in tournaments to get ready for this.
yeah,
So when we see the pros on center court, they've already had a good warm-up. They've already played a few rounds and gotten their shots dialed in.
totally.
And now they're coming out playing 2 studs that they would probably see in the 3rd round or 4th round normally.
Yeah, or even later, right?
Or even later.
You could see this in a gold medal match.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
typically. So
Or like winner's bracket final type situation.
100%. So yeah, it's gonna. I expect them to turn it up. They're traditionally slow starters, so
Right,
this is par for the course for them.
right, no doubt. And Ben, I've noticed Ben lays low a little bit through the early game,
Yeah,
the first game, and then he'll start to really get involved, like we're seeing right there.
yeah, absolutely. And I think Ben's talked about this before, but the main issue with his slow starts is footwork. So he's not moving as much as he typically does. So it takes a few matches typically for him to really get the feet going and
really
take more
get-
balls as he typically does with Collin, right?
Yeah,
So you're seeing him not move quite as much as he usually does.
for sure.
So that's going to be something I assure you that he's going to think about, is getting the feet going a little earlier than he typically has to.
So now all of a sudden, they went from down 2-10 to 6-10. So they're on a 4-0 run. And really, it's actually more than 4 because they had to get the side outs before they could start scoring points. So it's more like a 6-0 run.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
It's not one you want to miss when you got some momentum
and
going.
you've got their momentum back because now it's game point. Great reset from Wright.
Yeah, not coming back.
In Alabama, Rob, we would say that ain't coming back. That last one.
Fixing to crush this ball.
Okay, now that ball goes out
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
but if you can catch them before they can move out of the
It's
way,
a big body. It's a big body.
that's a good
It's,
percentage of winning it when you can body shot them. Look at that.
Great hands.
Back to the reset. That's just
It's tough
unfortunate.
luck, yeah.
Because unlike even like in the first game, some of the blocks went too high and they got
Yeah.
pounded. Ben was actually resetting really
Beautiful
well
resets,
there.
yeah.
That one just happened to clip the net at the end. Collin,
You can't have a side out. You
I
can't just
know.
have two.
Oh,
you know.
he knew it too because he stared at that net cord.
Pushing a little bit.
Well, but again, Ben's shots tend to be a little bit better than everybody else's.
Yeah.
So that ball might be attackable on
Sure.
someone else.
Yeah,
And he's
Matt-
banking on that.
He tried to sneak in quick, and yeah, usually that's going to be a little higher. But
Right.
Ben kept it down.
I love how Collin knows his role though with Ben, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Sure.
Guys, we're gonna take a break. This is Scott Golden joined by Rob Nunnery. Game one went to Wright and Barr a little closer at the end than we thought, but
Yeah, they made a comeback. Again, like when you're down 10-2, it's tough to claw your way back.
right. Yeah, and let's take a look at the screen, Rob. So that's what I was talking about with Duper. They've spent time calculating these win probability percentages, and they say that this match out of 10 games would go 70% of the time to the Johns brothers. You
Sure.
confirmed that you felt in your heart that was pretty accurate. It wasn't the reflection of the first game.
Sure.
But again, this is an isolated case.
Yep.
They're willing to put themselves out there with this because they believe strongly in numbers and crunching
Yep.
those numbers.
Yep.
So don't get confused on when you see that up on the screen. It doesn't mean for this match specifically.
Yeah.
It's saying we've taken the data from the last 32 tournaments and the results that the Johns brothers have gotten, the results that Wright and Barr have gotten,
Yep.
and we've calculated that to come out with this number. Make sense?
No, and I like I said, I think that's pretty accurate. And again, it's pickleball. This is a little bit of an anomaly with being a kind of first match of the day, and the Johns being slow starters. But what an opportunity for Dekel and Matt here to close the door. Be a big win.
Absolutely. And again, this is a team event as well as a bigger team event as well as just a team event. So
Totally.
You've got your team and then you've got your bigger team.
Yep.
So each time we see a round, they're playing for their team.
The overall team, yeah.
Right. Now, is there anything
There
on
is.
the line?
Yeah, so the winning team does get a bonus.
Okay.
So we care. We care.
care.
We're not playing for just fun here.
That's right.
We want to win.
It's entertaining for the crowd that's been invited here, but at the end of the day, you guys are fierce competitors and you're playing to win.
If we weren't playing for money to win, it'd be more of like a kind of a glorified exhibition, which the fans will still like it, but I think it's always better pickleball when something's on the line because you're going to get the best out of the guys.
You're going to pull the best out of the
Totally,
players,
totally.
and I know just because I'm a competitor myself and I'm an athlete, and I know when I got people watching and there's something at stake, I really hone in that focus and that dialed in spirit that I need.
Totally.
And that's what we're seeing is Wright and Barr came out focused early.
Yeah.
The Johns brothers were a little bit slow starting in game one, but I would not expect that to continue here in game two.
No, I wouldn't either. I think you're going to see Ben move a lot more. You're going to see Ben take more balls, and you're going to see Ben really get dialed in here. Is what my guess would be. So we'll see.
Well, and I know he's not. I've talked to Collin about this. Ben's not a morning guy, I don't think. So I don't think he's
not.
even in general just a morning guy. But I think 11 o'clock was a pretty good start time. He's not even playing until 12. So game two, he's got to step it up. This is not morning time anymore.
And just for some context, Collin's been here for a couple of days, but Ben got in very, very late last night. I think he got to our place at 1 a.m. So it was he flew in really late, got in late, woke up decently early. So, and Dekel got in really late too. So.
Yeah.
These guys are tired by default, but
no doubt about it.
they're
I
out
mean,
here.
that's a late night. And look, that's called real. That's real life.
Totally.
They were
Right,
somewhere else, and then now they're here. So
It's awesome, though.
as long as they found a way to get here, that's all that matters. All right, guys, we're kicking off game 2.
Yeah, Ben's got a no-nonsense look on his face now. So
I got a feeling he's not going to sit back docile this game. Yeah, there it is. So I was actually a little intrigued because Collin stepped over and took a ball and reset, and Ben stayed. And I thought, in my mind, I thought, uh-oh. But yeah, that's why he's the best in the business.
Exactly. And, I mean, they know each other's games, obviously, really well. They play all the time. And they, good court chemistry. And I know some people were looking for some newer matchups, and they were disappointed that they don't get to see, like, Ben play with somebody else and Collin play with somebody else, and new mixed matchups.
Yeah,
this is point finish. Shot. Yeah, but the way the format was is, like, each team had basically their 6 players. Everybody has to play 2 matches, and you have to play with somebody different. And we want to win, right? So you're putting the partnerships in place where you think you have the best chance to win, which is why you see some of the same partnerships, because
you want that opportunity to still come out on top.
Totally.
So you guys, as the team, came up with the matchups?
Correct.
Did you
for our own team? Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't know what the other team?
It was a blind. It was a blind lineup.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we had to kind of guess where they were going to put their teams. And we kind of guessed that Ben and Collin were either going to play first or last together, but we knew they were going to play together because they're the strongest men's team.
Absolutely.
So
that is very interesting because I wasn't sure who actually came up with the matchups. Very interesting to know that you guys did it yourselves.
Yeah.
But in a blind format.
Correct. And for our team, that first match was huge, because we thought that could go either way. We know Simone and Lucy were favored, according to Duper, but we knew, Annalise playing insanely good.
She's always
amazing, too. So
yeah. So, Dekel, I've been watching Dekel play professionally for a little while, and he has really ramped up a couple things. His serve and his third shot drive seems to be really dialed in right now.
When he hits those things, it's scary.
Now, he's not hitting his serve like he was at the last tournament. He was getting up off on his tippy toes, getting off the ground almost.
If you see how tight it is back here, especially with the orange
bar
cushion on the back, it's really, really tight. So there's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement that we're not going to do big serves.
Okay. You're not going to just crush it.
Not going to crush somebody into the back.
That makes a lot of sense because
if Dekel wanted to crank his serve,
he could crank his serve.
It would be brutal in here. Yeah.
Again, this is why I keep you guys in the booth. That's really good insight because I'm in my head. I'm like, nobody's really cranked up their serves yet.
No, it's purely out of respect because the court's a little tight in the back, and it's just. That's not going to be good pickleball.
And you want the game to be played out more on the skill set.
Like how it's meant to be played, in my opinion.
Yes.
That gets into another conversation about the latest serves in pickleball, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think the game's meant to be played, kind of traditionally at the kitchen. It's more of a strategy game. And I think with the serve, it's turning more into tennis where you can have a big serve and a big forehand and then points really fast, which There's a reason nobody really likes watching John Isner play tennis.
Right.
Because the points are so short, it's not fun.
Right. Absolutely. Don't misunderstand what Rob said. He didn't say that nobody likes John Isner. He said
No, I love John
Isner. He doesn't like the way that
He's a Georgia Bulldog.
It's not good for the viewership.
Correct, yeah.
No, John Isner is a beast, too, on the court.
Yeah, he plays a lot in Dallas with the crew there, so it's, it's cool.
That's just, again, unfortunate, those net cords. But what I've come to find out, it's a 50% chance you're going to win it, and then it'll wash out.
Yeah, in my opinion, it all evens out over
It
time.
all evens out.
It might not even out over that one match, so there's definitely going to be some matches where you're like, really? Really?
I think we've all had those.
Yeah.
Oh, good exchange. Collin Johns getting the better end of that one.
They need that, man. They were in a 1-5 hole. It's time to do some stuff.
Yeah, they finding themselves down a game and down 3 points here.
Ben saved him on that one.
I thought so, too.
It's a great
what
spot.
a shot.
Great spot.
Whoa, Collin's got that big windup,
Yeah.
and then he's got the control of it.
The reason it's so good is because he also can hit dinks like that. So you don't know whether it's going to be a dink, and then he can, at the last second, pull the trigger through the middle.
I gotcha. That does, honestly, that makes sense.
It's the same windup for both, so you just don't know, and he can take that different places, which makes him so dangerous.
So just a 2-point advantage for Wright and Barr here in game 2.
Hey, I got a feeling if Barr and Wright want to take this match, they're going to need to do it in this game. Not to say they can't win game 3, but you know what Ben does when the momentum starts rolling on his side. So if I'm Matt and Dekel, I'm really trying to close the door here.
So a quick hold.
Yeah, not able to do much on their serve there.
And then there's a
quick point.
Brutal attack on the third shot from Dekel Barr. I'd be trying to get that ball to his backhand on the returns.
Yeah, you don't want to see that forehand. Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier. You got the little wind up that he took in the middle last time, took it down the line this time. So it's just hard to get on top of that thing. Even if you get a paddle on, it's hard to keep it in or hard to do anything with it.
Just that little millisecond difference of
Absolutely.
catching you off guard,
That's
keeping you off balance.
The game at this level is just, it's a lot of deception. It's holding your shots and just mixing it up. It's not just sheer power.
Yeah, that's too good. Ultimately, the resets are important, but if you can't get that ball reset back down into the kitchen unattackable, it's going to end badly.
Absolutely. Especially with all these guys on the court. Everybody's pretty long,
Yeah.
I mean, the game's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Players are getting longer.
Definitely.
Kitchen's getting smaller. So
there was discussion.
Wow, great get.
Yeah, that's incredible. Ball is already by him.
Oh, fantastic
boy.
gets, though.
There's a timeout. That's what I thought we were going to have there. The Johns brothers take a quick timeout. Scott Golden joined in the booth with Rob Nunnery, who's up next. We're going to take a hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health, and we'll see Game 2 coming up. All right, guys, Scott Golden joined in the booth, like I said, by my good friend and Franklin-sponsored player, Rob Nunnery. Rob, where are you currently residing now?
Nowhere and everywhere.
Everywhere and nowhere. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
No, I'm in Austin, Texas as the home base. We're actually my wife and I are here this week closing out our lease in Estero.
Oh, nice.
So we're having to move our stuff out and clear that spot out.
Very cool. So it made sense for you to be here anyway.
Absolutely. Oh, it's a bummer.
That return just long, so it's going to bring it to 9-3. Perhaps Matt and Dekel saw the win probability percentages beforehand and had a little something to,
It's a great spot.
little chip on their shoulder. So 10-3.
I mean,
We've got game point and match point here, Rob.
this has got to be pretty surprising for all the viewers.
That's impressive. Dominating performance so far from Dekel and Matt Wright.
Yeah, no, they've played really well together. Haven't made many errors whatsoever, and let Ben and Collin kind of beat themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just an observation.
Yeah.
Listen, Ben on his worst day could still beat me 10 out of 10 times, but
Sure.
he seems just a little off at the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get something going for his second round, but
Yeah, and you got to wonder. I mean, there's a little less on the line here, right? We're playing for money and obviously pride, but we're not playing for the big bucks. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you got to
Right.
wonder, where the motivation level's at right now.
and that's called real life, right?
Yeah, totally.
You get in late, it's a different type of event than you're used to.
And obviously, he wants to win. He's a
Well,
competitor.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, as we saw with the shot he had right there, he's definitely not counting himself out here.
No.
And we're definitely not counting him out. Listen, a comeback in pickleball can happen very quickly.
Oh, there's some crazy comebacks, yeah. And Ben's been a part of a lot of those, so we'll see.
And now, again, it might be the commentator's curse, but they're on like a 3-0 run all of a sudden.
Right back to 6.
Yeah. So, Rob, we're going to take a quick hydration break brought to you by Jigsaw Health. We'll be back in just a minute. I know you're going to have to start warming up at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can stay in the booth just a little longer.
Yep.
If not, I certainly understand. We'll be back in just a minute, guys. At 6:10, we've got some momentum shifting back into the favor of the B.Johns brothers. What do you expect them to do here down 4? Do they need to stay aggressive? That's been the theme right here in the last few points.
Yeah, I think they need to keep playing aggressive. They've made a lot of errors this match, untypical. But, see?
Collin having some success rolling that forehand cross court.
Little run, 7-10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a pro player, this stuff can change.
Goes quick.
Quickly.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you find yourself, there.
Wrong server.
Okay, so we've got a referee error.
Yeah.
Which, again, look, not to be too hard on Bob.
Yeah.
It happens. But the good thing is we can just fix it and go back on.
Totally.
Hopefully it doesn't mess
no
with
harm,
him.
no foul. It's all good here.
Yeah.
And Bob's one of the best in the business.
Of course. And hopefully that doesn't mess with him mentally too much over here on this side.
I wouldn't expect it to. Big holds here. Yep, one more.
Literally, he's hitting that ball below the net. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think it was going in, too.
Yeah.
There it is.
That was impressive from Dekel. He waited at the right moment, pulled the trigger when he should.
They picked their spots really well that match. Just didn't make many errors. And let the Johns boys, kind of miss more than they typically do. So it's an early match, so it could go either way. But
awesome. Rob, thanks for joining me in the booth. I know Jesse Irvin's giving you that look like it's time to go hit. All right.
Thanks,
good
Scott.
luck, man. We'll
fun.
see you next round.
Pleasure.
All right, guys, that was Rob Nunnery, Franklin-sponsored player, now out of Austin, Texas. Going to be going on live with his partner, Jesse Irvin, playing against Ryan Sherry and Lee Waters. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for round 3 soon. Welcome back, everybody. This is Scott Golden in the booth all day. I am going to send it courtside to Hannah Johns. She's standing there waiting to interview Matt Wright and Dekel, the winners. And I'm going to throw it over to her in just a second. Give us just a minute. We'll get them set up to do that interview. Very surprising outcome in the sense that they finished it in 2. It didn't even go 3 games. I certainly was shocked. I know you guys at home were probably a little surprised. But again, Ben got in late last night. But we're going to send this interview over to Hannah Johns right now as she interviews Matt Wright and Dekel.
Matt Wright and Dekel. Again, we're doing just fun questions since this is a special event. Guys, what is a meal that you would pick if you only could eat one meal for the rest of your life?
This is from my buddy back in Wichita, Matt Conrad. Rainbow sherbet, especially if I'm stuck on an island. I thought you were going to go there if you're stuck on an island. More importantly, can we talk about the match, Hannah?
Okay.
We just played your brothers, and it feels like we're sidestepping the match a little bit. I'm just kidding. I'm giving her a hard time. Go to Dekel.
We can talk about the match if you want. You want to break it down point by point? Let's go.
Let's go rewatch it. Let's watch it. Let's go. Yeah.
All right, Matt Wright, highlights from the match. Dekel?
I got to go with chocolate chip with ice cream on it. Chocolate chip cookie with ice cream on it. Hot chocolate chip.
Spoken like a true athlete. All right, y'all, if you were going to go on vacation to Hawaii or Alaska, what would you choose and why?
What season are we in?
Anything you want.
I'd go to Hawaii in the winter and Alaska in the summer, and then you had a follow-up question. I thought you had a follow-up question.
Why?
Oh, why? I think I answered the why. I would go for the better weather, and in Alaska, I'd love for the sun to be out many hours of the day in the summer. So.
And Dekel?
Same thing. I hate the cold, so got to go where it's warm and nice. Alaska in the winter, I'll die in a few seconds.
All right, and we can talk about that match a little bit. I know, because you guys, this is the first time you've beaten Ben and Collin, right?
Together, yes.
Together, as a team.
Yes.
She had to get that one in there. You see that? Yeah. Good question, Hannah. Good question.
All right. What were the keys?
We got off to a really good start. They got off to a slow start. Of course, we were up, 10-2 in both games, and I've had those guys come back against me so many times that creeps into your mind. But we just tried to stay solid. I fight myself sometimes with not trying to speed up too much, and Dekel was doing a good job of reminding me to pick your spots, and he helped me a lot in that match. It was good.
You guys looked fantastic. It was solid the whole time.
Thanks. Yeah, Matt played really well from the beginning. We started well countering their attacks, and then we had some good offense of our own. Really had momentum in both games. Starting on that was key. Yeah, it was a blast.
All right, let's see if we can convert that in the next PPA, right?
Yeah,
Get the same result. All right, thank you very much, both of you. We're going to go back to the matches. Scott?